Don't you think it would be better if they called it olive oil?
No.
I mean, it's from olives. I think they've just identified it.
Well, you can get oil from anything. You squeeze hard enough.
Yes.
Can't get oil. You can't get oil from a rock.
You can get oil from a turnip.
Turnip oil?
Is there turnip oil?
Sure, it's real big in the Eastern Bloc. I'm pretty sure. If there's a liquid in it, and you can squeeze the liquid out, I think you're allowed to call that oil.
So, you know where I'm going to go with this. Like it's already. Do you want me to say it out loud?
I think you need to say it out loud. Yeah. Are you nervous to say it? Is that why? Are you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was cum really just dick oil.
Well, oops. I think we have started and completed an entire episode. That's good.
That wraps up another week at the International News Service.
Yeah.
Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
In honor of Betty White, Dana and I watched the Burt Reynolds episode of The Golden Girls.
How was that?
Oh yeah,
it was pretty good.
I like can I do my best Norm Macdonald impression of what I think he would write about Betty White?
Okay,
so it'd just be 2 nights ago, Betty White died at 93 years old. The curse of the Golden Girls. He would do that after anybody like died and somebody, like it was a realistic death or whatever. He would always.
Right. There's nothing outlandish about a 99-year-old. Yeah. She was 99, right?
Yeah, 99. She was like a week away from being a hundo.
She fought in World War II. She could have fought in World War II.
Yeah, could have. I don't think that she did fight in World War II.
She might have. I don't know.
She was out there.
She was in the Tiger Army.
They're my favorite band.
That's right. That's what I was talking about.
Well, I don't know if you know their hit song, a thunk, 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 tigers and bats, all my songs about tigers and bats.
Wow, yeah, that's a hit.
Album.
Don't know that.
Tigers and bats.
Tigers. Well, I'm glad we haven't lost a step with the new year.
That's true.
This is episode 51. Next episode will be a full year.
Tigers and bats, tigers and bats. Everybody sing about tigers and bats.
The real Tiger Army, not the awesome band. Weren't they American volunteers or a volunteer army prior to the U.S.'s entry into World War II? Weren't they weren't they allies of China's Chiang Kai-shek against the spread of the Japanese Empire? Or am I completely wrong? You guys are historians. You guys are all history majors. You all read Howard Zinn.
Mike would know about that history.
Talking about China altogether. I don't see why it's even coming up at all.
I fully support Taiwan as an independent nation.
I do too. I'm not afraid to say that. Way to go, Mark. Good for you. You know what? I think we all can say we support Taiwan, the freedom-loving people of Taiwan. You can say it, right, Kevin?
Oh, I can. Yeah, for sure.
Kevin and Mark, thank you. I do. Mark, let's start the new year off right. I support the Taiwanese government, and I recognize them as an independent nation.
I think INS as an organization should maybe put out a statement.
You're right. Right. Well, we are an international body. We do. And in fact, we've had stories from Taiwan.
My thing was frozen up, so I didn't hear any single thing you said. So whatever you guys were talking about while I was frozen out, I'm not, so probably I'll get that news. Probably I'll get that news. Right?
All right.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
My name is Brian Camp.
My name is Michael Wiebe. Let's see. Let me do the math. It's 1, 2, 3, 9, 12. Oh, yes. down in the bowels of the high Sierra Desert, of the high plains, west of the Rockies, seer of seers, the former world champion of kickboxing, Mark Ryan.
That was perfect as it was. You are back. Did you run out of knives to stab in her back? Is that why you're here again?
Boy, it really suffered while I was gone. I can tell you that.
Son of a bitch. I knew it. Yeah, I did. You got off rails.
Yeah, I got on the rails. Drugs.
This episode is going to be all technology related in some way, including the bonus story.
Oh man, do you know what I watched recently? And I've thought about it and realized I just don't think it's a very good movie. Blade Runner.
No, you're wrong.
No, man.
It's a good thing you're not on social media, Brian.
You're just wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Like, I watched it and I thought, this is just a bunch of garbage that got edited together. And then a lot of people said things meant things. Like, there's nothing behind any of this.
You know what came out the same day as Blade Runner?
Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan.
The Thing.
The Thing.
The Thing from Outer Space?
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Well, it wasn't the title, but The Thing was from outer space.
Howard Hawks' Thing from Outer Space? Is that what that's?
No, that's from 1938?
That's when Blade Runner came out.
50.
No, but Blade Runner came out in 68. So which one are you guys talking about?
No, Blade Runner.
I think you saw a different Blade Runner, right?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I watched it and I thought, man, this is just. I enjoy parts of that movie, but the whole thing together, I just don't think is that great.
Okay, fair.
I was surprised by my opinion, I guess, that of a movie that I kind of had convinced myself a little bit that I ever thought it was good, because it's just not.
It is good.
Is it?
The Thing?
I don't think it is.
So anyway, back to the show. Would you like to hear the first story?
I don't know.
Name the dog Indiana. It's a different movie, but it's about Harrison Ford.
I'm glad you shoehorned it in.
So you've heard of television.
Sure.
And you've heard of smell-o-vision.
Nope.
But now a professor in Japan has invented something new. A television that you can taste.
I can taste my TV right now.
Yeah. It tastes like plastic with a little hint of Samsung.
A little bit of dust.
What does Samsung taste
like? A little
like?
bit of skin, dead skin.
Well, Samsung has its own taste the same way that LG has its own taste, the same way that,
Magnavox.
Vizio.
Vizio, yeah.
Has its own taste.
An RCA.
An RCA.
Right.
What else?
The Sony Trinitron.
Yeah.
Philips, very good. I think they did develop and market and sell the 3DO.
Thanks for that, Brian. We needed that.
The 3DO. What was that?
That was one of the original disc.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
games.
Yeah. That's where I played Night Trap. Call back.
That's right.
Anyway, the invention we're talking about this week is called Taste the TV, which is a screen that mimics food flavors. The way it works is that the TV is equipped with 10 flavor canisters that then spray the surface of the TV with a specific combination of flavors to simulate whatever is on the screen. For example, they could simulate chocolate if there was an image of chocolate on the screen. The inventor, who hopes this is the first step to creating a world of downloadable taste content, said, quote, "The goal is to make it possible for people to have the experience of something like eating at a restaurant on the other side of the world, even while staying at home."
Wait, what do you have to, so you have to lick the screen?
Yeah, you lick the screen. The screen puts a specific image up and then goes dials in oh, this is what that image tastes like, and has these taste canisters that will then spray a combination of flavors until they match that flavor, and then you lick it off the screen.
But you got to go all the way up to your TV screen and lick it?
Yeah.
That seems cumbersome. That seems like a...
Is that the only thing wrong with this invention you can think of, Mike?
And you gotta read
too many steps.
It's like a fucking printer. Printers are forever not working because there's one.
I think we're getting a preview of your comedy right now. Your sharp comedy, your sharp printer comedy.
I mean, you got that 10-minute tight.
I don't
routine.
have any comedy about printers because they piss me off so much I can't even make a joke about them. I fucking hate printers. They make me so mad. They never work. And I don't understand how we can, send a billionaire to space, but we can't fucking make one thing to print out some of my poems when I'm about to go on stage. When I'm about to go on stage at the London Symphony Orchestra Hall.
Yes, the world famous.
I'm supposed to do a poetry reading, and I can't get them to print out. And thank God I have them all in my dome, which is my head. But it's fucking frustrating.
I feel like we've gone about 7 months in the past right now.
Michael is calling back to episode 7 where he used the word poem.
I used to use poem. That's just what he says.
That's how you say it. It's the right way to say it. When you go to college for poetry, that's something you learn in the first semester.
Where might one go to college?
Yale. Yale School of Poems.
That's classic dumb. Thank you.
This isn't the first time the professor has worked on a flavor-related invention either. About 6 years ago, he created a fork that made food taste saltier by sending a mild electric shock into the taster's mouth.
That's a useful invention.
Yeah, because then you never need salt.
Yeah. That's a health kick thing. I like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you think it works, though, or it just shocks your mouth until you're conditioned to not eat as much food?
I don't think it's an aversion therapy thing. I think it's the shock stimulates your taste buds in a way that what you're eating has an extra salty flavor to it. It's a very specific frequency, I'm sure. If it hasn't been invented, it should.
Yeah,
because
I like it.
People probably consume too much salt. Sodium's a real problem in these trying times.
I keep thinking about, do I need to cut down on my salt intake?
It's hard to. It's in everything.
You definitely can't eat out and skip salt. Like it's like everywhere. When I eat out, I feel like every food is just a salt lick.
And your urine's probably putting a lot of salt in your body.
Well, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
But so what kind of shows do you think you would watch on Taste the TV?
Dr. Pimple Popper.
There are 2 ways to go with that. I'm glad you went that way. That's good. So if Mike's watching a Lansing on Dr. Pimple Popper,
okay,
and
of a sebaceous cyst,
and the sebaceous, another callback, and the sebaceous cyst occupied, say, a third of the screen.
Okay.
It was I don't know what kind of shot that would be. You're the film people, not me. Where the cyst,
I think we call it a close-up.
A close-up on the cyst.
Extreme close-up.
Okay, an extreme close-up of the cyst.
Yeah, because
not the whole screen.
Well, it's only an extreme close-up if somebody's dumped Mountain Dew on the cyst.
But the left side of the screen is maybe the doctor's face as she's leaning in very close to lance the cyst. If Mike were to lick the cyst, I'm assuming it would taste like the accumulated pus and oils inside of the cyst. Is that correct?
I don't know what a cyst tastes like. Like
a thick kind of stew of waste product built up under the skin over years and years. Is that correct?
Have you ever had Thousand Island dressing?
Yes, I have.
It's like that, but less sweet.
Okay. Now, but at the same time, could he then lick the doctor and taste what the doctor tastes like, I guess?
Ooh, Dr. Pimple Popper is a hottie. She's a very attractive woman.
It's like you could do both. You could like lick across your screen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as advanced as that yet.
Like you would get the pus as your main course, and for dessert, you'd have
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Her cheek, perhaps.
In all reality, that would be a little bit gross. You know, it would be a bad movie to watch too for taste is Hated, the G.G. Allen documentary.
Why is that, Mike?
Well, Gigi was not the most hygienic individual. He was a bit of a performance artist, and he was into scat play. And he's also greasy. He was also very greasy in general, and probably was like heroin, heroin sweats.
Well, why'd they nickname him Good Guy?
It was ironic. It was an ironic thing.
Good Guy Allen.
So our next story comes to us from the Sunday Times.
These Sunday Times.
As NASA's exploration of space goes deeper into the cosmos, the possibility that life on other planets will be discovered becomes more likely. In order to understand some of the cultural and religious ramifications of such a discovery, NASA has launched a program called the Center for Theological Inquiry at Princeton University. The purpose of the center is to assess how humans might react if alien life was found on other planets and how that could impact our ideas of gods and creation.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes.
why is it more likely that we'll find alien life? Isn't it just as likely we'll continue to confirm that there's nothing but us in the universe?
Yeah, nothing on a cold, dead rock.
According to the Drake equation, when you put the possibility of life, of other life in the universe, on a scale that's basically infinite, then life becomes an extreme probability. Maybe not life like we'd understand it.
Oh, well, that seems like a cop-out. That's a
Man,
cop-out.
he's such an interesting rapper. What about Pusha T's theory of celestial economics that states that if we find an alien and they try to steal his cocaine, he will shoot them?
Buy low, nay high.
Mm-hmm. No response. Okay.
I made a really good economics joke. I'll stand by it.
That is pretty good.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you for.
Okay.
I appreciate you referencing other rappers. I thought that was pretty funny
I
too.
thought that was good too.
Yeah.
To
I
do
know what's up
this,
with these guys.
It seems like they would have at least gotten excited at one of their two favorite rappers was making it onto the podcast.
Right. I didn't even see their eyebrows go up.
I know. I was just kind of like, oh.
to do this, NASA has chosen 24 theologians from around the world to consult with the program.
Like
In
the Bachelor.
In 2008, the Vatican's chief astronomer said there's no conflict between believing in God and the possibility of, quote, extraterrestrial brothers, unquote, who are more evolved than humans. Nevertheless, a theologian from Cambridge University who was involved in the program said, quote, non-religious people seem to overestimate the challenges that religious people would experience if faced with the evidence of alien life. And this seems to be supported by surveys in the U.S. that found Christians are less likely to believe in the possibility of life on other planets. Now, I noticed a second ago, Brian was less convinced there would be life on other planets.
No, I'm not. It's not that I'm less convinced. I'm convinced that there is no life on other planets.
That's what
I'm
I'm saying.
convinced 100% the opposite.
Yes.
It's not a scale. To me, it's a yes or no question. And I
Can be no
I
gray
feel
area.
that there is absolutely no chance that there is life on other planets.
Is there life on Mars?
I assume I will die having my theorem proved, or at least not disproved. I mean, why haven't we
Not
heard?
disproved, I think.
We haven't heard any alien baseball broadcasts. Why hasn't that happened? Are you saying that if there's aliens, they wouldn't play baseball?
Well, I'm saying if they're aliens, they might be, like an algae somewhere.
They might play Zarkblar.
Yeah, exactly. They probably do play Zarkblar.
It
does seem like we would have heard one of their Zarkblar broadcasts by now.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a good Zark. Let's stop here for a second.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to unpack with,
A lot of Queelox and Zarkblar.
And, well, don't make up stuff.
Yeah,
Kevin.
just don't. If you're not willing to at least,
Well, we already know there's blue avians. So
yeah, there's blue avians. They look like birds.
Mm-hmm.
So
They do.
when they're
They
flying,
have beaks.
they have beaks. They're flying around. They're, part of the big thing with Zarkblar is you're trying to dump what's inside your cloaca on top of your opponent's head.
Maybe it's food. Maybe it's an egg. Maybe it's shit. Who knows?
Yeah. You know, it'd be cool. They made a TV
What's that?
show about Zarkblar and you could go lick the screen and taste it.
That's right. I hope you get lucky.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's a lot going on here.
Right.
So they are getting all these religious types and just asking them, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if an alien shows up? And are they getting paid for this?
There it is.
There's the fucking grift.
There's their grift. The science grift at it again.
So they're not just any random people. Like they're leaders in their various.
That's what I'm
religious
saying. Like
communities.
just random, but what is any religious leader doing at any given time? Other than nefarious things. Like
Is the Pope one of them?
No, the Pope is not one of them.
why not? Seems like this is very much his territory. So who's heading this up? The Vatican?
No, NASA.
Oh, NASA's heading it up, and the Vatican.
NASA started the Center for Theological Inquiry.
But you
at
said that
Princeton
the
University.
Vatican had an astronomer. What the fuck is going on there?
I think astronomy's always kind of been important to the Catholic Church.
What about astrology?
Probably not, because that represents the devils.
Yeah, that sounds like a Sagittarius thing you would say.
I usually don't break in, but I have some information about the horoscope
Oh, yeah.
and
Okay,
the zodiac
let's
for
hear
you
it.
guys.
Yes.
It's all wrong.
What?
How is that, Mark? How can it possibly be wrong? I read it in the newspaper.
NASA, actually, this is related. NASA came out with a report that the Babylonians, when they invented the zodiac, left out a sign or a constellation called, what is it called? Orpheus or something like that. And so there's actually 13 signs in the zodiac.
Is this QAnon related? Have you been on some websites? Have you been
Everybody says that this is a conspiracy theory, but this is from NASA. And so
well, they think there's aliens.
the signs that you're born under are not the dates really that the sign.
So it's adjusted wrong.
Right. So it was 3,000
Yeah.
years ago when this was developed. Therefore, right now, things have changed. And so what your birth date does not line up with the traditional zodiac signs.
You know why? Too? Inflation.
Are you saying, Mark, that this is not the dawning of my age? Is there a way to find out? Is there a way that the listener can?
I am not a Sagittarius. I'm a Scorpio. So, and it all makes sense now to me.
You know what's the most fucked up thing about this is that now the musical Hair doesn't work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dawning
the
of
most?
the age of Aquarius. It's just all wrong. It should be the age of I don't know.
The moon's probably not even in the second house.
But yeah, probably.
Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer.
He's the god of
The
booger
serpent
eating.
bearer. Why is anybody walking around with serpents?
Man, if
No
I could
wonder they
walk
left him
around
out.
just
They're deadly.
flinging snakes at people, I would do that. That would be my new job.
So are there some people then that's their sign is Ophiuchus?
Mark's getting yelled at.
Yeah, Dana's upset. I guess I brought this up to some people that were really into the zodiac and horoscopes, and it's completely blew up their concept of themselves.
Was your wife one of them? Because she was yelling at you.
Did they
just
get
now.
mad at you?
Yeah, it really upsets people.
I bet these people reacted like religious people when they find out that there's blue avians. This is exactly what the NASA study is doing. NASA just lives to fuck with people's minds, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good, but I actually, as much as I make fun of it, it is a good question because, I mean, it's not a good question and if they're spending a lot of money on doing it, finding it out, because
That's
it's
true.
probably not going to happen. But it is that thing I've always thought too, like if a spaceship came down, it seems like a large number of people would just go ahead and commit suicide. I mean, it would be like a crazy reality, in toto reality altering event. All the knowledge we've gained up until here would be completely sort of not upended, but completely shifted.
Isn't there almost an entire subgenre of science fiction though that deals with this question? Like that there's
Hunger Games.
well, I was going to say Stranger in a Strange Land is some of this, but certainly the Hunger Games, I think.
Yeah.
Felt
Katniss.
heavily. And,
Katniss.
is that her name?
Katniss Evergreen is her name.
Mm.
And I bet that there was a girl that was in the 9th grade and she was reading that book, and then her 7th grade brother called her, kept saying, "Oh, you like that book about cat piss?"
So
I'm glad you attributed the first thing you thought of to some unknown random 7th grader.
You know, he doesn't like to, you know, he knows his sister really cares about those books and really identifies with them.
Right.
And he also knows how to get under her skin.
Well, deep down, he misses when they were friends. They used to hang out all the time. And now she's got her own friends.
We've got two stories left, 2 sentences left in this story. Why don't we get to those?
Well, I don't know. Are we done talking about cat piss?
So, when asked about this,
cat piss ever peen. This is a good podcast.
God damn it.
It's really good. Oh, man. This is how you bring in the new year.
Yeah, we're doing it. 2022.
Yes.
So, when asked about this, a rabbi, an imam, and an Anglican priest, and I want to point out this is not the setup for a dumb joke, involved in the study told reporters that Christians, Jewish, and Islamic doctrine would be fine if alien life was discovered. But the question remains, what would happen if they found intelligent life on Earth?
That it's real easy to say that you're cool if aliens are discovered before when you believe 100% in your heart that you're not. I don't think anybody will know how they're going to react until it actually happens. Can I tell you what I'd do?
Yeah, what would you do if so there are reports that they find some sort of living sludge on Europa. What happens?
Well, that's boring.
Why do you have to come up with a boring alien? Yeah,
aliens.
Well, that's probably the kind of life you're going to find in the universe. So it's most common here on Earth.
Who cares? It has to be, make it something that's like threatening.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all just depends what kind of alien. Because, I mean, yeah, the housewife will probably go, cool, whatever. And the rabbi will go the rabbi will say, oh, I guess, that's sludge, whoa. But, like, I mean, you know, I think it's a big difference between...
armored cat beavers on Neptune. How do you react?
Can I see a picture?
Scream at them and force them to attack Mike.
I don't have you'll have to make your own picture.
Well, next person who orders stickers, you're going to get a good envelope.
Yep. An armored cat beaver.
An armored cat beaver.
On Neptune.
Well, you know, Neptune spins, I believe, vertically in comparison to the other planets.
That's correct. Yeah.
It's a gas giant. I believe there's a lot of methane.
Yeah, because
there are rings
cat beavers
of Neptune,
fart, man.
And they are vertical rings. And I think I read somewhere that all planets at one point had rings, and it's really, in the life of a planet, a very short stage that they have rings like that. So we're very fortunate to live in a time that we can see Saturn's glorious rings.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
What?
You can always tell something's exciting when someone
says, "Yeah, that's exciting."
That something is exciting. That's the dead giveaway.
What about? Can you fly straight through Neptune if it's made out of gas?
If you didn't hit a cat beaver, probably.
Yeah,
I think so. Well, no, it's got to have a core of some kind, right?
Yeah, it has a core. I mean, all that gas is like centered around gravity.
Right. It's been doing crunches for billions of years.
Insanity.
So this next story comes to us from IGN.
Oh, the gaming network?
Yeah, what is it? Internet Gaming News, I think?
Yeah.
I thought it stood for ignoramus.
Also true. In the past, we've discovered scientists growing mini brains within a lab in order to study their development. But
Dr. Mecton, I presume.
Scientists at a lab in Australia have grown mini brains to do something new. They're teaching them to play video games. Specifically, these scientists are teaching them to play the game Pong. Pong is a simple table tennis simulator where the left and right sides of the screen have simple lines representing paddles, and they bounce a digital ball between each other. What surprised researchers was the speed... Yes, that's the Pong sound. What surprised researchers was the speed with which the mini brains figured out the objective of the game and then learned to play it. While an AI would typically take 90 minutes to understand Pong, mini brains did it in just 5. Of course, the researchers also said that an AI eventually learns to play Pong better than the mini brains ever do. The lab says they hope to eventually combine live neurons into traditional computing into traditional computing, enabling devices to solve problems in unfamiliar situations, perhaps like wiping out the human race.
This is a real cyborg thing happening.
Yeah.
Why don't they just teach them to play Doom? They can
Those are rats.
give those rats what for.
True.
How do the brains work the paddles? I assume they're
Excellent
using
question.
paddles, not joysticks.
Right.
In true Pong,
If you're
if
gonna
they
play
want to be
Pong,
for
right.
real about what Pong is and what Pong does.
Yeah, it wasn't real specific on how the mini brain actually controlled the controller.
That sounds fishy.
Yeah. Is it like Krang from the Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
Thank you for bringing up Krang.
He's a jerk.
He is. There are a lot of Krangs.
I think there are a lot of Krangs.
I think in the John Carter book, there's a lot of Krang type creatures, and like in the 5th and 6th book.
That they like control bigger things in their
I
little.
don't think so. They were little brain people. I forget how they got around, but they were a real threat to the Heliumites. I remember that.
Does the book
It's a real
describe Deja Thoris as being so buxom?
I'm sure it does.
The writers of that era.
Maybe not Frank Frazetta buxom, but
Yeah, nobody's Frank Frazetta buxom.
no, that's not a real person.
Man, what a great way to make your horny into a living.
Oh yeah,
True.
right. Why isn't science trying to recreate that?
Yeah.
So my question to you guys, in terms of science and the story, is how long did it take you to learn to play Pong and master it?
Like instantaneous.
Yeah, I think I figured it out immediately, and my brain was pretty mini. Like I was probably 5 or 7.
Right. You're just moving a stick up and down a screen, hitting.
Yeah,
a
anybody
square.
can do that.
Why did science have to? Why not just use our brains? We're already here.
You know what though? When I was a little kid, the first time I ever played the Atari 2600, it was at some kid's house, and
the Jaguar.
the parents, the what?
Not the Atari Jaguar. Wasn't that their?
That
was
was
way
later,
later.
the Atari Jaguar.
Like 10, 15 years later.
But the kid's parents were like, "You got to be real careful with those controllers. Don't break the controllers." And I seriously was afraid to turn it, and I was just like moving the whole controller, and I couldn't get the hang of it because they scared me so bad that I was going to break their shit. Because I was a real fucking strong kid, you know? Like,
Right.
I was always, like, ripping off the bumper when I didn't mean to of a car, or just, jumping up on the roof
Right.
and accidentally punching the chimney and knocking all the bricks everywhere.
Bursting juice boxes in your hand on accident.
Oh,
all
for
the
sure
time.
that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right. Ripping tires off trucks.
Yeah. One time my folks were changing the jack on a tire, and the jack fell out, and the car was going to crush my adopted dad, and I fucking just lifted it up with one hand.
It's
Mhm.
that happened in the first Superman movie.
Did it?
Mm.
Yeah, it sounds like you
That's
just
so
remember
weird.
What year did that movie
beginning
come
of-
out? What year did that movie come out?
1978.
Oh, that's weird. I was born in 75, so.
Huh.
Huh.
Sounds like you're owed some royalties, Mike.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody is going to get a call from my lawyer.
I thought I was your lawyer.
Yeah, you're going to call them.
You better get on the phone.
You're going to call fucking DC Comics tomorrow.
So our next story is a bonus story.
Bonus.
And if you want to hear it, go to our Patreon and subscribe for $3 at the Knights of Kevin level.
Yeah.
And you can get this story. I will give you a little sample. It involves one of Mike's favorite health tips.
Oh.
And it was submitted by someone named Brian Camp.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
And I
Wow.
keep hiccuping, which is going to be fun to read this while I hiccup.
Was it me or someone else named Brian Camp?
It was you. You.
Oh, okay. Then I think
your
I know
name
what this
is Brian
is.
Camp.
Yes. Yes.
And remember, Kevin,
Yes.
hiccups are for weak people.
That is some childhood trauma coming to the surface, I think. Right.
Did you ever, real quick before we get to the story, did you ever read the story in school about the guy who had hiccups for decades?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was in the Guinness Book of World Records, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right next to the McGuire twins.
That's right. Those bad bugs.
And sometimes when I was a little kid, I would have the hiccups before bed, and I would fall asleep with hiccups, and I would worry, like a real fear that I'd wake up with hiccups, and that I would just be that guy. In my whole life, I'd go through hiccuping.
I remember there was an 8 is Enough where Dick Van Patten, I think, had hiccups he couldn't get rid of for days.
How did they cure those?
They beat the shit out of him.
That's right.
That wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. Tell some lab-grown brain cells about us. Check out our merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Ian Heck.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.